update. Board meeting for Jefferson County LDC. Meeting's called to order. We've done a pledge. We have any privilege of the floor. Looks like there are no. Yes. So I'm going to say no to that. Minutes on page 3. They've been received and reviewed. Motion to accept them as presented. From Christine, a second, please. Second. Bill. Any discussion, comments, clarifications, modifications? With that, all in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Minutes accepted as presented. Treasurer's report, Paul, please, on page 7.
Well, this will be an easy one, being the first month of the year. There's nothing out of line. All the loans are current. The balance report, balance sheet looks good. Major change there wasn't. So other than that, everything's in line for being in the first month, and no surprises.
Good.
Now make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second, Rob.
Like Rob. Okay. I maybe had one general question. With all of the different checks that were issued, the ones that are exactly 5,000 to 10,000, I'm assuming are the loans that we granted through the different outfits. Because I don't recognize some of the names.
Different loans, grants.
Grants, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize some of the names. They're probably just doing business as other things, but they're with exactly 5,000, 10,000. So I assume they're one of those grants.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Any other discussion? Unless you have questions in mind. Okay, all in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Treasurer's report. Mr. Converse isn't here, so I'm gonna roll down to either John or Ed, and you guys can fight over it. The ad hoc CEO search committee, we were trying to get an update on anything, and just, there's a couple minutes in here. I don't know if there's any updates here.
I don't think much.
I just said that the ad is in the paper this week. It's in the online version. It's been sent out to the city account.
Okay. Great. That's fair. Didn't expect a lot of update, but it's on the agenda. Okay, great. We'll move on to council reports. Jay, you're here.
Good morning, everybody. I sent out a report yesterday afternoon. Hopefully everybody had a chance to see it. I apologize if you didn't. I know you have a lot on the.
Let's put that on.
I think Paul is ready for the dairy parade.
What's the time for your speech?
Oh, that's done.
You have 30 seconds, man.
So I know you have a lot on your agenda, so I would just ask, do you have any questions about anything that's in the report?
Well done. Have you haven't found any more applicants with damage? You mentioned with greenhouses might take months to find.
The one in my report, the one greenhouse I said was destroyed, that we just found out yet.
Okay, but you mentioned, I think, in there that there might be others that the owners they might not be here.
As they come back, it wouldn't surprise me that we.
Is there a window for them to apply to whatever possible funding sources it could be? Like, could they do that in June if they only discover this? Or?
Yeah, at this point, there really isn't much that's available to them, other than that emergency conservation program, which is only going to help them with cleaning up debris, repairing fences, taking trees down out of.
But it's something. It's
a little bit, yeah. And this is where we see in agriculture, when we have these kinds of disasters, typically this is what we run into. There is not much available to help them, but we do the best we can. We get the word out and share the word with the state, and usually get the same message.
Okay.
Well, I think there's the other thing they think good. I don't know who everybody roots it for, right? But just real quick for the speaker coming in, the time and who it is, and why, if everybody in this room can possibly be there, you want to throw that.
Sure.
Option for you.
Yeah. Dr. David Cole is a internationally recognized economist, especially focused on agriculture, but not just agriculture. He is invited into a lot of bank type conferences, financial conferences. He is an economist. He is dynamic, fun, and full of information. So we really want to attract more than just an agricultural crowd to that, and that's going to be my focus with this, and it's sort of why we're changing things up just a little bit, because it would be beneficial for the non-ag crowd to be there, hear what he has to say, and also be there with the ag crowd to see the similarities between both sectors of our economy. So we are having this, Jefferson Community College signed on to host the event. We're having this on Thursday, March 28th. It is the day before Good Friday. 6 to 7 will be our reception. We're working out exactly how that's going to work, whether the college is going to do it or if I have to hire somebody else in to do that. But there will be light refreshments and great conversations and networking. Then Dr. Cole will speak from 7 to 8, probably run a little bit over knowing Dr. Cole. And then from 8 to 9 will be a meet and greet with Dr. Cole. So chance for people to individually follow up with the doctor. So he is a JCC alum. He is originally from here. And he will tell the story, but I'll give you the little tidbit. One of his high school teachers told him he would never go anyplace. So he has gone. He's traveled. He will tell you he's traveled the world, I think, 7 times already.
Well, let's give that person the VIP.
Thanks, yeah, there's a lot of work that.
Yeah,
We'll touch more.
and thank you to those that served on the subcommittee to put that together. But yeah, very excited about it. I think it's going to be a great program. As I said, we're going to work hard to attract the business versus non-business, or the business and agricultural sectors. I am looking for sponsors. You'll see there's a little example of a standalone X-frame sponsor type banner. So if anybody's interested in our top level of sponsorship, you get one of those for free for your office. So have to throw a little trinkets out there.
Just heads up, Bill inside, talking with Jay, this is a perfect venue for a lot of locally elected officials, as well as student population, as well as agriculture. So hopefully we can fill the room with a lot of, and inform a lot of elected officials. So well, then some confidence to make a tough decision.
And we're hoping that moving it from the lunchtime venue to the evening venue might make that easier for everybody.
Anything else for Jay or Jay? Anything else?
Just one thing, did you get the layout of the changes to that project I sent you?
Yes, I did get those. Thank you.
With that, thank you.
Thank you.
Manufacturing, David.
Actually, we've got our next joint Jefferson Lewis Manufacturing Alliance taking place March 22nd, right?
Yep.
Yeah, March 22nd. So Robin and Mark are working with the Lewis County Court and everything that we got a meeting there this afternoon to talk about topics and agenda.
Any questions, manufacturing council? We'll move on to marketing muscle, and we can roll right into you and Joy going into the ARPA stuff.
Lucky we don't have much to discuss on the grant, no grant approvals this month. But one thing that we have been doing regarding the grants, Joy and I have been touching base with approved recipients who haven't done anything with their grant. There are a few out there that still haven't even gotten us the agreement per se. And while they're still in their time frame, we want to reach out to them, figure out what their plans are, if they are going to be taking the grant. If not, if they just flat out say I don't think I'm going to be doing that, they give us an opportunity to go down our list. So that is something that we're working on now. But from the marketing side, A couple of things, now is visitor guide season for our waterfront communities. So we're gonna be continuing doing that. We always advertise in the visitor guide. They're all very well done. We've done that, for a long time. We have our annual JLI Economic Development Day coming up next Friday, which is something that, again, we always do over at Air Break. It's usually a morning and then a tour of their facility. And that's always a great day to talk to the JLI students and sort of discuss what we're doing. In terms of advertising, also, we mentioned we're going to be in Larkon Daily Times Progress Edition, which is their annual, it's not their business per se, but the Progress Edition is good. It, you know, talks about things like economic development in the future, things like that. We do have a couple of national grid grants that we're working on. They're in process for electrical service infrastructure, cost relief, and as everyone knows, that can get pricey quickly. And so there's programs available through National Grid to help alleviate that cost. The annual New York State Economic Development Council meeting comes up next month in Albany. We're going to be heading down to that, Robin, Jay, Dave, and I. And I mentioned the no grant approval this month. But that's it, Mark.
Sign up date for the park, is that,
For the park.
when there a delay that they could do stuff until this year?
Okay,
The sign at the entrance?
the sign at the
Oh,
end.
that'll happen after the turn lane is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, sure, it's not already, like, I'm like, is that already done?
Looks great.
You ought to just put like an AI in it. Okay, well, I didn't think I saw it.
No, but
So that's just, that maybe this year, or is that?
I got to get update on that during the, IU.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just kind
I
of.
thought you meant Thompson Park for some reason. I was
No.
I was.
No, that's another, that's Lisa's problem. We'll just leave that as that. Joy and or Marshall, anything to add on ARPA, and then we can kind of just ask questions for marketing and ARPA all at once, because they're kind of intertwined.
Interesting fact, started, paying out the tourism grant this month in January. There are some that are starting to get working on that. Ordering their items, they can't really do a lot right at this point.
Along those lines, a question I have, under on page 26, on the local food resiliency and processing and production. One has 100, was allocated 100,000, the other 500,000, still showing.
We haven't
There's no
approved any of
applications
No,
whatsoever.
they have, they're working on that. That's a ag, they have a
So-
whole committee that they're working on, and probably will be presenting them maybe next month.
March, hopefully the March meeting. So, yeah, and it's actually in my, there's a little tidbit on it in my report. The round 2 of the Jefferson County Food Resiliency Grant programs, we handle those differently than the way we handle the marketing and the other grants. We do those all as a package. Right now, you saw me meeting with the extension folks yesterday. We were meeting to go through the process that we're working through, reviewing each application, going out, meeting each applicant, making sure we know exactly what they're talking about doing, that they know the ins and outs. So yes, 500,000 for the,
A quick question,
Sure.
does it look like from what you have in the hopper, you'll use it?
oh,
It'll all be
Yeah,
used up?
from what I'm seeing, there'll probably be a couple that we will
That was my.
turn away.
Thank you.
Any questions for marketing and or ARPA? I don't believe there's anything from council typically in this meeting. New business?
I just have a question, if anyone has heard or is familiar with, maybe Lisa, the Centers for Businesses in Transition. The chamber is hosting, I believe, an event for realtors. the group is like from up north, like, I think like Placid. And it really is, they're trying to bring businesses together, those that are selling, buying and some moving around. I just didn't know if we were familiar with that or if we're.
Yes, they've got plenty of sponsors, and they've got like Blue County Chamber and our chamber involved for like satellite representatives throughout the region. We actually recruited a couple of weeks ago. One of our local area processing folks that recruited but basically it's a program to help with, you got an existing business, the owner's looking to retire, get out of it, and sell it. And maybe it's to a family member, or maybe it's to someone else that's gonna purchase it. Like I just mentioned another day, someone else will pay it. Yeah, and they basically provide guidance on what to do, the whole transition process, things to look for.
That's kind of a pet project of Anchor.
They had a similar one up in the Adirondacks about a year ago, and it was pretty well, and I think it was starting to like, is where they have it.
Yes, they can host it.
Anything else? Would we like to adjourn?
So move.
Okay, first,
Second.
Ron, is a second, all in favor, aye? Aye. None opposed? Do we stand adjourned and move to our next, meeting? The Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency meeting is called to order, February 1, 2024. We've done our pledge. We do have a gas station privilege on the floor. I think it's best. Great. Well, he's technically got it. Welcome regardless, but.
I'm gonna sign off, folks. Thanks a lot. I'll see you later.
Stay free. Minutes on page 3. They've been received and reviewed, and if so, we have a motion to accept as presented. So that's John. Second. Second. Bill's a second. Any discussion, modification, questions? With that, all in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Paul, you're on page 6. Treasurer's report, please.
I'll start by asking a question. There's a new entry on the road, Jasmine Airport grant. Can you explain what that
Sure.
is?
Yep, let's talk about
Yeah, your time's up now. You got no time, brand new, folks.
Wait till next meeting. Yeah, actually, I was gonna mention that in the new business, old business. So for the work at the, you recall, out of the business complex, how all it's going, we have a $500,000 grant, DASNY, this state municipal facilities program. We've got funding from ESD and $500,000 for grant. So we just submitted our first reimbursement request for DASNY for about $389,000.
If you just move them because it shows up as the previous month. In the balance sheet, you'll see there's a significant change in the assets. Most of that's due to the DASNY and closing in on Marzano's, is it? And Fremont Bay Ventures that shows a big swing in the asset. Other than that, the balance sheet looks in line. We do have one of our micro loan receivables is 4 months in a year. Have we had contact with them? Any positive news on? No. Okay.
No, it's this. It could be a problem. It's very close to turning that over to the village.
Okay.
We restructured the loan once and the payment is only $250 a month. And we're probably going to have to turn that over.
Okay. And the other one's been out there, at least to the side for a while.
Yeah, that one is historically they've been slow, but
Okay. Other than those 2 items, the revolving loan funds are all current. So, one.
it's the design. Is that what? That's been slow then. No, loan originated.
It's the same owner, but I think they either brought in the coffee roaster, the other.
So it was operations in the back that changed things, not the front.
Well, I don't know, because I think people are all in them together, so I don't know if the business bought it.
Still owned by Jeff.
Yeah,
Hasn't changed, but
but I don't know if they bought into the coffee roasting business. But I did see that too.
I saw that, I thought, well, maybe that will get us our delinquency.
And that would be it for the treasury report, and I move the treasury report and not this morning, but.
We have a second.
Second,
Lisa, any other discussion or questions? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? That report carries. Committee reports, I don't know if there's anything in the first two, alternative energy. Incorporate.
Alternative energy, there's been no meeting. But I have sent something out to the members, Boralex is put in for an amendment to their permit to expand the project by another 20 megawatts. They've, had, dropping of some new filings showing where the new arrays will be. It looks like it's all ag lands they're adding, and they're taking some areas out. Reducing certain areas, and they changed it from let's say a 300-watt panel to a 600-watt panel. So it's a significant, they're trying to say it's a minor change. I don't know who all received Dave's email, but they had a conversation with Borlaug saying they were dropping the Sandy Creek project and moving it to Borlaug at the request of National Grid. But what bothers me is when you read the new filings, they don't mention that they're combining two projects into one for transmission reliability. That was what Borlaug told me, but they put in an amendment to their permit to expand it by 20 to 140 megawatts.
Which actually Jay had a conversation before that was.
So.
What are you hearing on, recently there was a round from the JCIDA, New York State, for power purchase agreements.
I believe they put out a request for proposals that aren't gonna come out.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's a round, that was announced 2 months ago. Yeah.
I'm accelerated.
We're looking at one of them. DES had their project.
Yeah.
Like they had like 3 or 4 minutes.
Originally, Borlaug was a direct credit purchase. And then now it shows up that they can bring to strike price, and now it's going to a service site to show that they can withdraw their application. So I assume they're going to withdraw to get probably in hands because they tried to get us to support an application for the power authority, and it was a replacement and adjustment to their previous award, which was shot down by the PSC. So I imagine they're going through that process, and I think it's a little release date of those.
But should they hit their mark? I think that's been somewhat of a choke point to build out on some of these. If they end up with a power purchase agreement of 4.5 cents, 5 cents versus 3 cents, 2 cents.
Well, they were getting their strike prices, let's say just under $7 a megawatt. And if I understand strike prices, if the online price, let's say the grid price is $8.80, they'll only get the 60. But if it's 42, they get the 60. Is I believe how strike price works. Their original rec credit was $15, just under $15 a megawatt. It's like 1.5 cents out of it. And there's been no negotiations with any of the jurisdictions that are hired.
I found it interesting. Solar or crazy solar. So maybe the town board is part of the circulation. They had it in the rainfall letter that had the exact amount of
projects that would be allocated over 20 years. $15 million.
Well, all the projects estimate the community benefits.
Well, they put it all in one sum over a 20-year period. All the benefit of the project, is about $15 million for the unit. I started backing it out. You taxes, that included local land taxes. When I started backing all that out, it came right at $3,500 a megawatt.
And I don't think you're gonna get anyone to fight that. Why would we? Well, I shouldn't say we, why would a taxing jurisdiction? If you look, the state has also released the preliminary 2024 valuation. Okay, so I don't know what 4Alex's build out cost is at 140 megawatts, but with land using this evaluation model, it's gonna value out at 60 million bucks, which is about 6,000 megawatts full taxation. Right now, we're getting 5,500. You know,
The unknown is always tough, because you look at what's happening with the offshore wind, they make a deal, they go bankrupt, the state just throws a couple more billion at it just because it's not good. And that's really the problem, is the slush fund called taxes, is and never ending stream of money. And that's the issue. That's really the unknown.
the reality is that 140 megawatts is probably 150, 160 million dollar project that's gonna try for build out. Pay taxes, land included at 60 million bucks. So if you look at the value, they're gonna be assessed at 30% of cost.
And they can't survive at that. So
They can't?
So they say.
Yeah.
So they say.
I don't know. I mean,
It
publicly,
would be
I
up to the
they
tax
can't survive on it.
we know what the county's position. So, and with the schools and the failure of the state to deal with the tax cap implications, a lot of schools are very nervous about year 16 of an ending of a pilot and having to do a tax cap override. That's going to be it. They're also worried about the growth factor. There's a lot of little things, like the town of Houndsfield. You know, if they do full taxation, that's not, their tax rate's $2 a thousand, so they're probably the lowest in there, so.
Hey, anything
It'll be
else?
interesting discussion.
Corporate park, I know we have a letter that you sent to us, I don't know if we want to review that, and if this is a good time to update on the sign as well, since it's part of the corporate.
Yeah,
park.
so a couple things. One, we reported a while back that someone under the Corporate Park Committee, we met with the town of Water Planning Board, the town board. Had a good discussion on the language if we finally come to and propose amendments to the zoning law. Well, the other day they hadn't proceeded with it, so I talked to Joe Bartlett, he said, explained why we needed it, so we agreed, just send a request, you know, how it would be good to have the zoning amendments proposed, approved, so the zoning is consistent with our covenants. You know, sure that we're bringing out that we have the covenants, and so I think it's good to have top of that. And then Rob asked about the sign for the corporate park. First, we want to finish building the turn lane. Right now, the only thing holding that up is for the county to begin work. And Jim has commented on the town of Water. The town of Watertown is also moving some lines out there, some infrastructure lines. We have to wait for those to get moved. National Grid has already moved the gas line and moved the power line. So once that gets moved, we should be getting that thing built this summer.
You know, and since we're in the corporate park, this is a Justin question. We closed on the Lawler, or what's it, L2 or
L2. I think it was.
Yeah, now it's W, the 4XL.
Oh, yeah, I saw the 4X, I thought that it was like some other.
Yeah.
So my question is, so we closed on that one, we now have a lease back. Do we file the exemption application now, or do we wait till they get a CO on their structure?
We file it within 15 days of closing. That's the GML requirement. So it goes to the assessor within 15 days of closing, and they essentially sit on it until the March 1 taxable status date. And then they adjust the parcel to continued exempt status at that point. It was exempt when they purchased it. Oh, well, that was taxable. I'm thinking about across the street. I'm sorry. It'll be converted to exempt starting with school taxes, with the levy starting July 1st, and then town and county January 1. It's kind of a use it or lose.
They're gonna lose, until they build it, they're gonna get no benefits from our pilot agreement. Is that correct? Or do
That's
we-
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. They're now they need to perform now to get all the benefits.
Okay, that was my only question.
Okay, Christine, would you be prepared to review the loan review minutes, or either you or John, or I can do it? Dave and Kent aren't here, so
Yeah, that's
it's
fine.
one of us five.
My computer. died.
Oh, sorry,
That's
Tom.
okay.
I mean, I have mine open, whatever.
Thanks. But, I mean, the overall was talking about Hale. Bus garage,
Mhm.
looking for the sales tax exemption. And which we loan review, I also was on Zoom, so it was hard to hear.
Yeah.
But overall, we were presenting it to the full board for approval for their sales tax exemption. Since then, I think that Dave has had some conversations with the applicant.
Yeah, it was correct. When we talked, originally before we submitted the application, we just had sales tax, but the form he actually sent in had also more recording tax and pilots check. So we got to correct that. We have the corrected version signed off and re-signed and notarized, and clarified what he was looking for. So he's actually, as far as what he's doing for the product, he's originally planning to do 500,000 down on the project and then finance the rest of the project, about 2.5 million. So he has one loan to bank. The bank is looking for additional financing. The Water Help Development Corporation approved 250,000. So I saw him the other day. He is looking. He'll probably be coming to us next month to make up the gap where we're looking at the bank. So we'd be matching the probably 200 to 250,000. Similar to the custom. So wait for that application. But he is retaining about 20 jobs, creating another 10 to 15.
What's the nature of that business? Is he servicing for other?
The primary nature of the business is the transportation. So he's only about 6 people on staff that are actually mechanics. For this particular project, what was called the service reception area is only about 10% of the project, and it can't be more than a third for it to be, like that. So he, as Chris has mentioned, the loan review was the bus driver, he's basically maintaining their own fleet, but they also got contracts to maintain vehicles for DOT and for a lot of highway drivers. Yeah. And people can come in, drive in off the street for repairs, but that's another good source of that.
Strong company, they originated in Clinton, New York. Right. They had been servicing through the coach business up here. It was an opportunity for them really to get into the Northern Territory, and it worked out well for all parties involved, and he's strong. He's good. He knows what he's
So what we've heard, they're happy with it. Community's happy with it. The pre-existing business was on the verge of bankruptcy and losing those jobs. So
I like the cost benefit now, so that's dependable with anybody.
So did he indicate, or were you talking about mortgage tax then after our further?
yeah, so basically the mortgage tax wouldn't be enough of a benefit when you look at the legal fees, everything that's involved, for that small financing.
But even on,
But yeah.
even on the 1.5?
Yeah, but without ours would be exempt anyway. So, if I discussed that with Jeff.
That'll be the next one piece.
Yeah.
Any other questions on loan review? We do have a resolution to do that according to the agenda a little bit later. A question for you, Dave, is there any update you need to offer on that?
You
You don't have to.
No, I was under new business. I was going to clarify. So
Okay.
Mark mentioned unfinished business. So the application that we're working on National Grid for the power infrastructure is actually something Marshall's working on behalf of Convo, because they're going to be bearing the cost of running the power line from Patty Hill down to the site. And but by all indications, things are moving ahead. There is sharing some new updated information that I mentioned to you all the other day. And, hopefully he'll be closing the financing by the end of April.
Thank you.
Fingers crossed.
Any, I don't believe there's any
Yeah.
other unfinished business, just that.
Yes.
New business, we received kind of a primer to discussion we need to have. The need and a formation of a new LDC for the DeFerrier, project, which is so far called DeFerrier Redevelopment LDC. The board can choose the proper name, but we need to discuss and determine the structure, who would be on it. Obviously, the need is there, but as a board, we need to agree how to approach this and then give council the leeway to start the formation process, and then we can vote on it and deal with it with the March meeting. Just kind of summarizing Dave's email to us, it's in the village of DeFerrier, but the town of Wilna would participate because some of the land is in the town outside the village as I read this, so there was a strong desire to have the village, the town, and the county represented along with our agency, and it would be part LDC and part IDA. My original thought would be just to have the loan review committee plus those three, because it kind of falls into looking at some of the same things. We can, select the members based on people's, time and interest, to this, but that was my initial thing, just pick one of our standing committees that meets pretty regularly. This wouldn't, I'm assuming, meet all that regularly, but have some pre-work and then maybe 6 months do nothing and then some work. That's my guess.
Yeah,
I'll let you fill the blanks in.
Sure. And just for the public, I mean, what we're looking at is the county's in the process of foreclosing on the old Ferry Mill site. Hopefully they'll get, probably April, so get title to that. The idea, I mean, the county doesn't want to be in a position of owning and managing the redevelopment of that property, so then the county does have a $8.5 million store in New York. So once the county forecloses, the idea is they would transfer ownership to a new LDC. And it'd be a new LDC as opposed to the current JCLDC or the IDA, just protect our assets for that. And that would be the entity who would be kind of responsible for overseeing the redevelopment of that site, working with NYSERDA, leasing it to NYSERDA while they develop a plan for a renewable energy project, and then leasing in order to possibly selling that project eventually to any other development on the property. So for today, maybe just turn over to Joe and Justin to talk about the process for formation. And we might talk about how we want some of the makeup to be, and then probably we're having something more formal the next week.
I'm aware of the Bronco study, and have they landed, or is that still yet what they want to do with that property?
They're still working at it. Yep. So they're readapting. I mean, originally we were looking at NYSERDA was looking at maybe 10 to 20 megawatts of renewable energy could be in that site, and now looking at the capacity, like one of the transmission lines is going to be moved to an old transmission line. So the 115 kV line, the 23.5 kV line is still there. That stuff needs more to build. It does. But basically, there's not as much power capacity. They want to make sure they don't want the power, any renewable energy project to be too big, because they don't want to impede. Brookfield's got a 10 megawatt hydro facility right there. They don't want to impede their ability to get power out of the grid too. Right. So, which is really kind of closing the door for renewable energy development on that site. I mean, that could handle a 5 kW or a 5 megawatt. Yeah, but we were concerned about that too. But NYSERDA apparently think they might be able to offset that with some battery storage on that site, which would also needed for the grid. So that could be how they make up the reduced megawatts of pure solar generation by having some larger battery storage there on site, perhaps. But all that stuff's still in work. They're still analyzing. There's nothing definitive there. Brownfield opportunities areas, the grant that the town got, and that's kind of a community-based program for kind of planning what the community might do, around the edge of the facilities. Yeah, it's not dealing with the design or the remediation, of it. So, but they're kind of somewhat related because they're all kind of right.
Okay. With that, I don't know if y'all or Justin, whoever wants to lead the discussion and just walk us through what we need to do.
Yep. So me, Marshall, Dave, and Justin initially, and Justin, feel free to hop in if I missed any steps. We initially had a conversation just kind of what the formation process looks like. So any local development corporation is a not-for-profit corporation, so it's going to require filing a certificate of incorporation with New York State. we discussed structurally making the IDA the member of the LDC, meaning that the IDA would be able to appoint the directors. It would be up to this board to determine how many directors we would want on the board. There's benefits and costs to having more board members and also less, which we can certainly go into if we need to. I mean, you just imagine if the board's too big, it may be difficult to get consensus, maybe difficult to have forums at meetings and things. There will need to be an initial meeting to adopt all the policies that are required under PAAA and PARA at first. Yeah, really it's up to this board to kind of give us some guidance on how many board members we want to have and also who we want to be on that board. There's some benefits too to having local buy-in, local town village buy-in on this. Sure that as we go through the process, there's going to be need to be some local municipal approvals at both the town and village level. So to the extent they have voices, those approvals may be easier rather than harder. Again, I don't know the zoning of the site, so I don't know what particular we may be involved. I'm assuming at the very least, probably a zone change and possibly site plan approval and things like that. But that's it. I mean, we're really just looking for guidance from you all as far as number of board members and who serves on that board. Certificate of incorporation can be filed pretty quickly. We can have the organizational docs and everything prepared shortly after that, but that's kind of what we're looking for. Justin, if I'm missing anything, feel free to.
Maybe here.
Yeah, what he said, that was a good summary.
Okay, if the IDA is the member gets to appoint, or like some of our other committees, are we allowed to appoint IDA and LDC members or only IDA members?
No, you can appoint, the IDA will be able to appoint.
Anybody, anyone
Yeah.
that either that, because like my initial thought was like loan review, we have a mixture of LDC and IDA to have,
Sure.
you know, the right strength, and actually
Yeah.
LDC is really that one of the,
Yeah.
it's kind of like one of those things where it's backwards at the IDA though. It's just
This is no different than any of your other LDCs.
So it could be neither or.
And I'm guessing you probably got a mixture of board members that would want to be involved.
Yeah, and you know, well, if we don't need to deal with like names, or we just need to deal with what today? Number of members, or what do you want?
I mean, name would be nice too. I mean, I don't know if you want to come up with some creative name or.
Leo, John Smith, we can give you those names. out.
Or not use the personal name.
I would think you wanna have by position, like the mayor of the area, the supervisor.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are.
Do it by position, so as they change, there's some continuity in the approval process.
David's already approached the mayor and the
I talked to
supervisor.
Paul Smith, a little supervisor, he would prefer to be on it. And then the mayor, there's a new mayor for the area. I corresponded with, I'm gonna meet with him next Monday.
My thought is though, instead of saying
Yeah.
Paul Smith,
Yeah.
the mayor of
Right.
the village of the area, so there's a change. I don't have a problem with those individuals. And you mentioned Bill, they're meeting Bill.
Yeah.
But the chairman of the legislature has by title,
Yeah.
not by name.
Yeah, we'll let the
Well-
county decide if it's the chair position or
Yeah.
but at this point,
Chair does-
I think he's already drawn the short straw. So,
I corresponded with Bob Hagman, Bill and Dave Paulson, my attorney, about it. We wanted Bill and a rep or some other appointee of the legislature, which should be Bob or David Paulson. And they felt Bill, because he's on the board here, so it may be the county chair or whoever the representative is on the IDA.
yeah, that's fair. Okay.
But
I
they
mean,
felt
we
that
got,
Bob and Dave Paulson felt they would be involved as staff anyway, so we would
Yeah.
have to meet them on board.
so we have those,
Yeah.
we have those three positions by title, if you want to call it that, and then we just have to
I
round
think
out.
seven's a good number.
I think seven is good. We just need to-
We're in the-
We just need four more. I would like to see a mixture of the LDC and the IDA, because I think we have so many nice strengths between the collective boards. And we can go from there. So I'll start with looking for volunteers. 2 from the LDC and 2 from the IDA.
I would vote.
Okay, we got 1 IDA.
Is this, are these daytime meetings or the evening? Do we not know at this point?
They're gonna be at the least convenient time, Rob. No matter what we tell you. And Zoom is allowed, because I think by state law, right, we only need to have 4 in the room of this group.
Yeah, if you.
If it's
Yeah. You can do that.
applicable.
So with that scenario, kind of 7 or 8, the board. Our entities would rise much more than half of their board, half of that.
We would have a majority, there'd be 4 if from our collective group, and then 1 town, 1 village, and 1 county, which, again, if it's Bill's already on our board, so we'd be 5 and 2. But Bill's more acting as the county representative in this particular capacity.
So the local input board would be with only, for the most part, specifically.
Village and town, the village mayor and the township mayor.
Mayor.
That was what Dave's original, again, it's up to this board to determine if we want to expand that, that's great, but.
I would say supervisor, mayor, and county representative.
And we have 1 from the IDA,
Just in case you end up staying on this board, and sometimes I don't want to be chairing more, we have another chair, but we might have else. So when you say county representative, you're talking from the town of.
no, county.
Whoever the county representative,
Yeah.
the county each year appoints representatives to our board. County represents our board of land, town.
Yeah. So
And then.
I'm gonna, you don't have to volunteer. Okay, so we have another 1 from the LDC. You've been interested.
I am interested, but got scheduled other board meetings on certain days.
Okay, well, this is, yeah, this is a new activity,
Who's got welcome?
I'll serve.
oh, you did? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I didn't see you, Lisa. Okay, so Joe, we have, John Canino and Lisa, who are from, IDA, and so far Christine from LEC, and Rob is on the fence, and Greg. And
Come on, Rob.
Greg and Ken are the only other 2 that, I will nominate one of the attendees. And then we will clearly,
Mr. Conrad.
well, no, he's IDA, so it's not, I mean, it's not, I don't have to have a mixture, but I like, we have so many good strengths, but, and if all else fails, I'll fill the vacant position too.
Actually, Dave's willing, it'd be good just for some environmental stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of environmental stuff, I mean, if you could just put,
Dave would be perfect.
Yeah.
put Dave's name down, he didn't show up, he didn't show up, I have the problem. All in favor, yeah, he can always decline later. So I think we have, 4 named, positions, and then by, title, which is a good point, Paul, mayor of the village of DeFerrier, the town.
I think I do mayor designate. If Bill wanted to.
Okay.
Somebody else of the county.
Okay,
And the mayor wanted to have a trustee do it.
yeah, so, village of DeFerrier, mayor designee, town of Wilma supervisor designee, and Jefferson County designee, if that's the right term. But I think that allows.
So 7-member board.
It's 7 is really a good amount, because I think getting 4 people in the room at the same time, I'm assuming these will all be. I mean, we never know where the meeting's gonna be, most likely here, but. I mean, that's a hell of a drive for the Berry to Wilma.
So who are the other ones then? By name, John, Lisa,
Watertown.
Ed, Christine, and.
No, I think it was Lisa, John, Dave, and Christine. Well, that's David from it.
Oh, that's why
I think. Okay. They could, co-share 1 position. And then we designate that we spoke about, so that'll give us the 7 board person structure. Then what we have to do is just, again, figure out like. Where, when, the other thing, because obviously the rest of the board can participate.
So is that gonna be?
Well, I can just come up with a name, and if we don't like it, we can change it.
Yeah, I mean, Dave threw out the Prairie redevelopment LDC, I mean, that's descriptive, because you can't mince what is fine to do. But
Better than Rob's LDC.
there you go. 4 actually.
So is that gonna be a 4th meeting? Are we gonna have a meeting as part of this overall, since it really is the sub LDC? JCLDC to the IDA, or is this gonna be something that's gonna be operated differently?
I think by open meetings, unfortunately, we have a charter, we have to have our own meeting, is my guess, right? Tell me.
Yeah, no, it's subject to open meetings law, just like your other LDCs and your IDAs, so it's up to the board as far as when they want to have their meetings or when it wants to have its meetings, they do have to be noticed, in accordance with open meetings. You gotta give reasonable notice before the meeting.
We'll be in the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, I would think.
I mean, that'd be great for me, then I don't have to.
I would think we don't really have that JCCFD very often, we can just have it in place of or after that, because that meeting is usually 3 minutes long.
And this may not
anyway.
necessarily be a monthly meeting.
Oh,
either.
God, no, yeah,
We can take a look, they still have to be here, it's easier for some of these people in the
yeah,
village.
but that would open up a difficulty if we're trying to have it after these meetings.
Yeah.
We're all here,
Gotcha.
the
Yep.
forum's here, but the meeting is somewhere else, and that would create a great
I think it
difficulty.
makes no sense to have this be the office, or, this is,
Yeah.
the mailing address and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So, but we'll have to work out the,
Do you want to use this office as the address for the LDC?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I would think that would work for them.
if you like, the meeting is better, if we can move to there. It's not much nicer, although the parking is a bit crappy. Once you have a special pass.
All roads.
Yes.
They park a lot across the street now.
Yeah, well.
A lot. That's cool. Oh, my goodness.
All I do is drive up, push the button, say, hi, I'm Bill Johnson.
There you go. Motivate my not over the gate. Anything else under, the LDC, from council, did we give you what you need to kind of proceed to the next
I'm
step?
good to go. Yep, thank you all.
And then, Dave, you're gonna pursue, continue to pursue village and town.
Yeah, town's on board, I guess having the village.
Is it a fair assessment to maybe comprehend, they may start cleanup in there this year? This summer, fall?
Possibly, the idea is once the county gets, control, we'll work on getting an RFP out for the cleanup of the site, so hopefully we.
Activities going on this summer.
We might get in contact by potential contractors to do that kind of work. So, no RFP out there.
That brings us to the final matter for today. Unless there's other new business, the project authorizing resolution, any other new business? Okay. Joe or Justin, is there any preamble that you need to give? I mean, we already went through this in long review. This is the authorizing resolution sales tax exemption only. Is there anything else you need to offer?
No, that's a good summary. It's up to $100,000 in sales tax benefits for the Watertown bus facility. No public hearings required. They've cleared local site plan and seeker with the city. So we're in a position to proceed and authorize sales tax benefits.
Okay. Page 46, project authorizing resolution, Hale Bus Garage LLC, the project. Resolution number 02.01.2024.01, resolution of the Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency accepting the application of Hale Bus Garage LLC, the company, with respect to certain projects as more fully defined below. Authorizing the undertaking of the project and appointing the company as an agent to undertake same, authorizing the provision of financial assistance as more fully defined below to the company, making findings with respect to the project pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, and authorizing the negotiation, execution, and delivery of an agent and financial assistance and project agreement and related documents with respect to the project. There's multiple whereas clauses. The second one gives the parcel numbers, the addresses, Marble Street, City of Watertown. I'm not gonna read all the parcel numbers, there's several of them. 26,300 square foot commercial building related site parking improvements is the existing improvements. They're adding on an approximate 4,500 square foot. 2 garage bay addition for all operations, for repair, etc., parking, utility improvements, etc. Further on down, it's just to indicate the fourth whereas clause, we're allowing up to $100,000 sales tax exemption. The estimate of the project is stated in the cost benefit analysis. And I think that is the biggest summary I can make. We've checked all the other boxes with regards to an accepted and amended application, seeker and city and, local approval. So with that, this is a roll call vote. So first we need a motion, a second, and we can have any discussion. So moved. John first,
Second.
Teresa second. Any discussion questions?
I just have a treasurer's question.
Go ahead.
So our fee for sales tax abatement is 25% of the savings. Is that based upon their estimate, or do we bill them after they file their final application, their final tax file with what their actual abatement?
We'll collect the 25 at the IDA closing, and then they have the ability to use that full $100,000 limit.
Is the 25,000 then considered kind of escrow against if they only take 80,000, we give money back? I think that's kind of your question.
Yes.
No.
Okay, so we
No.
keep 25.
We collect the cap at closing, and there's generally not a correction. It's up to
Okay.
them to.
Perfect. My only question.
So they should use all the benefits extended. That's the moral of the story.
So let's go back, we just extended or increased the sales tax abatement on 3 Mile Bay Ventures. Does that create an additional fee, or is that all part of the?
Didn't we vote to waive that?
We extended, I don't think we didn't increase it.
We discussed it, and I thought we collected an amended fee, but not an additional fee.
No.
There was
There's no
something,
additional fee.
we discussed something about amending, allowing them to amend it, but not collecting more fees into their,
Okay.
No, we don't, yeah, we don't increase, when we extend it, we just extend it.
we didn't extend the amount, we just extended the
We did the correction express.
Any other questions about this matter? Roll call vote. Can't see it. Yes.
Dave, absent, John?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Ed? Yes. Paul?
Yes. Well, thank you.
Oh, the other thing I written down, forgot to mention, if you're out that way, you may see some activity out by the business complex, just right after the first year when, before the snow came, the county started work on, building that, driveway into the projects.
Okay, any other matters before this board?
I see action going across, is that for the bridge? We're starting to build a road, that's for the new.
Oh, that's right. It's for the-
Across the street.
Any other matters? Questions? Would you like to hear? So move. First, second. All in favor, aye. Aye.